Perfect. Welcome, amazing Canyon View families, to our community informational session regarding reopening school. Together, I know we can do anything. For our new families, I am Jill Halsey, the proud principal of Canyon View Elementary. As you know, we have quite a decision ahead of us. You also know now that we are starting school on September 2nd, and I'm thrilled to get back to learning in whatever capacity that may look like, either virtually or safely on campus. Just a little bit about me for our new families and for our, of course, our returning families. The Halsey family, we are trying to keep our positive attitude and look for the silver lining. And I also want our new families to know that I'm a mom as well, charged with making a very similar decision that you are charged with. So Tatum, we just had her drive through preschool promotion, so she will be entering kindergarten. And Andrew just turned 7. We bought him a drum set. I'm not sure if that's a good decision or bad one yet, but he will be entering first grade. So I really want you to know, parent to parent, that we're in this together, and there is no wrong decision as you look at navigating this for your family. I also want you to know that I'm available. We did the Padlet. I'm available via Zooms and small groups in addition to email on a regular basis. So why are we coming here today in a pre-recorded model? It's to share information with you so that you're able to process information and make the best decision for your family. So there's 3 different models that you are able to choose from by the end of the week, Friday at midnight. So there's on-campus learning, there is the Virtual Learning Academy, and there's also alternative programs specifically for elementary homeschool. I do want to share with you that we will be starting on-campus learning if we're able to go back on September 2nd. We will be in our contingency plan, which I will touch on. If you want more information, I will be posting this slide deck to our Canyon View website, and I've linked in really key pieces of the PUSD guidebook. I know that we're almost on information overload, so really one of my key purposes today is to draw attention to what will help you make the best decision for your family. And so the links are active here that will share specifically about alternative programs, since that's new to many of us. So our goals for this session, we're going to work backwards to move forwards. We're going to talk about how we got here on July 28th. We're going to talk about our Governor Newsom's guidelines, our reopening plans. I'm going to share on-campus and virtual learning experience. I'm also going to answer general trends throughout the presentation that you put on our Padlet, as well as the emails that I have been receiving. And then I'm going to share with you resources through our PUSD guidebook. So Governor Newsom's guiding principles, learning is non-negotiable for our amazing children. And as a mom, that's so important to me. We will continue, and we must provide meaningful instruction during this pandemic, whether schools are brick and mortar open or closed. We're on our path to reopening in a really safe way when the time is right. Students, teachers, staff, and parents prefer in-classroom instruction, but only if it can be done safely. And safety will continue to be determined by local health data. At the top right here where it says Governor Newsom's guiding principles, I did link in his full address from Friday, July 17th, if you would like to hear more information directly from Governor Newsom. Governor Newsom has put forward 5 key mandates around schools and reopening schools. So the first is safe in-person school is to be based on local health data. San Diego County must be off the monitoring list for 14 consecutive days in order to reopen in an on-campus learning format. The mask requirements also, that was updated on July 17th. All school staff must wear masks. Students in 3rd grade and above are required to wear masks, and students in 2nd grade and below are strongly encouraged to wear masks. We will also be physical distancing. Staff and our Canyon View team must remain 6 feet between each other adults, and between students. We are definitely going to talk through the symptom checks, hand washing, sanitation, and all of that. I do want to reiterate on this slide that really the 6 feet is staff to student. and staff to staff. And then when feasible, we will be doing that with our children as well. So regular testing and dedicated contact tracing. More information on how PUSD specifically will do this to come. There is some information in our guidebook as well. And looking at a rigorous virtual learning experience with daily interaction with children if we are in a virtual format. So how did we get to the PUSD guidebook, and how did we create our Canyon View reopening plan for learning, health, and safety? We really want to maintain continuity and the community that we have created at Canyon View and Poway-wide. These are our 4 core values that went into the great thinking and leadership creating this district guidebook. So a huge thank you to all PUSD staff, our superintendent, Board of Education, our fantastic Canyon View team. Just to reiterate, we want to maintain an inclusive, caring, supportive school culture, timely and frequent communication with a high level of transparency. I want to be your thought partner for sure as you navigate this, and make sure you have as current information as possible. Systematic health protocols, as well as following California Department Health guidelines. And as you guys know, I keep putting this in there. We will get through this together. So for me, to you as your principal, here to serve you, and as a mom and what I expect from my children's principal, you will consistently get honest and transparent communication from me. I will continue to emphasize our strong school community. I'm available and ready to collaborate, listen, and be your thought partner through this decision making, and as we navigate a very unique learning year for our children, creating and maintaining a safe, fun, and loving experience for our learners, staff, and community. So there's 2 key pages that I want to bring up on this particular slide that has come up on our Padlet in addition to email questions. It's specifically about what are the PPE measures in place. So there it goes. Oh, excuse me, I did the wrong one. The maintenance and operation. So what safety equipment are we getting? So we continue to be committed to adding additional safety equipment to maintain cleanliness of our schools. So we'll have increased hand sanitizing stations throughout campuses before students enter at all points of ingress. We'll also have them outside of each restroom, and we will work with students to sanitize their hands before coming into school, as well as the restrooms. Personal protective equipment for staff, touchless thermometers for that morning wellness check, as well as electrostatic and UV cleaners. The other piece I want to mention that's really important, and to encourage you to start talking with your children about this now, but the 3 main things for PPE when we return to on-campus learning, and best practices anyway, as mom who knows my kids' hands are dirty quite frequently, is hand hygiene, face covering, and physical distancing. So starting to talk with our children about what this looks like. There's some really cute videos out there that can help train our students in these 3 key areas. And we will also be systematically training our students on what this will look like upon our return to campus. I've also linked in right here on the school opening guidebook, that is linked in there as well. There we go. Oh, okay. So specifically for Canyon View, what we know that there are still many questions, and not all questions have answers yet. But what my goal is for the end of this informational session is that you have more direction on where to look for some of these answers. I do know that we have talented, smart, empathetic educators in our district and our school that are working tirelessly to ensure that not only on-campus learning will be safe, but the virtual learning experience for our children will be rigorous and will meet the demands of a world-class learning experience. So specifically, when we start to talk about the Canyon View reopening plan, the learning, we will continue to emphasize a world-class learning experience. We will continue to use district-adopted curriculum, continue to support our kids' social emotional health more than ever. really maintain relationships, staff with students, as well as student to student in both the virtual learning and on-campus learning. The health and safety aspect is very important right now, and that is the primary purpose of these informational sessions. So we were going to touch on the physical distancing that I shared, increased sanitation, the mask requirements, multiple ports of entry for ingress and egress. We will be adhering to cohorting children, as same with ingress and egress. Our goal is that we will have a point of ingress and egress per grade, at the most 2 grades, but it is our goal to hopefully be able to have TKK come in through 1 point, first grade at their own respective entry points, and on up the grade levels, and that will also be how children will be dismissed. We'll have the passive and active screening, so the screening that families are asked to do at home before they come, as well as the active screening. We will be a drive-through drop-off campus for this year. We will offer 1 walk-up table, but there won't be parking and walking children up into the gate. We are going to, for the safety of others, as well as increased physical distancing, allowing that to be feasible. We will have a primarily drop off and a primarily pick up via our vehicles for this time. We'll also touch on recess and lunch and how that will be a staggered schedule, equipment by cohort. But again, as I said earlier, if we do start school on campus learning on September 2nd, our plan is to start with our contingency plan, and that will be in here as well. So when we start to talk about the on-campus learning experience, I want to first direct you to the pages in the PUSB guidebook that has very thorough information around the on-campus learning. So it's pages 16 and 17 in the guidebook. It's there for your reference and linked in when this is posted to the Canyon View website. So now let's kind of walk through in a little more detail each component of an on-campus learning experience day. So you arrive, we are asking 1st through 5th grade families to drop off their children from 7:40 to 7:55. And then our TK and K families, we're asking you drop off between 7:55 and 8:05 for the morning session. But we are trying to give our kindergartners, our first-time learners, like my daughter Tatum, hopefully a little bit calmer experience when they are dropped off. So we will be doing the temperature check and the COVID screening question. That is also linked in here if you click on this link. Students will be required to sanitize their hands at their point of ingress. I already had mentioned multiple points of ingress. I think that's important. I know that question has come up a lot for families. And again, the closed parking lot driving will be highly encouraged in cohorts. And we are looking regarding, as we transition to break and lunchtime, we are looking to assign our character coaches and supervision staff. We're hoping to be able to assign them by cohort versus area. When students arrive, they will walk to their respective space on the blacktop. There will not be playtime in the morning as we enter on campus learning. They will wait at their room number. We will have signage to help them physically distance as they wait for their teacher. So when the time is right for recess and or lunch recess, we will have a staggered schedule. We will be very creative with our spaces, both inside and outside, safe and efficient use, again, by cohort. We will be assigning recess areas, likely by week. And our hope is that the bathroom can be assigned, respective grade levels assigned to specific bathrooms for cohorting purposes. But again, as you guys know, mom, as a parent to parent, sometimes when our kids have to go to the bathroom, they have to go to the bathroom. And so that is why we will have sanitizing stations outside of each bathroom on our campus. Let me make sure I got all of that. And sanitize. A question has come up multiple times about sanitizing. We will have students sanitize their hands before they eat lunch or a snack, as well as after they eat lunch and a snack. That is a practice we already have in place in our lunch court area. We have, I think, four 4 or 5 sanitizing stations already. So we will continue to work through that. So time to go home, we will again do our absolute best. That is the same port for egress for our children. It's predictable for them. It aligns with cohorting children. We just encourage families timely pickup and timely drop off is going to be very important this year as we ensure that we are able to physically distance our children. And again, we will have a closed parking lot and the driving is highly, highly encouraged. All right, I think I got most of it on that. In the classroom, to the extent possible, we want to maximize our space between seating and desks. In the contingency model, which we will get to, obviously that will be a smaller number of children. Teacher and other staff desks will be positioned at least 6 feet away from student desks, where Poway Unified School District has purchased cardboard privacy folders for each and every child as another layer of protective equipment to child to child as well as adult to child. All right. So this is the Canyon View. Actually, let me go back really quick, guys. Sorry. So where did it go? That's okay. I'll show you at the end. Thanks for bearing with me, guys. Okay. So our contingency plan. So this is still in tentative form. Like I said a couple times, I just want to make sure you know as you look to make your decision that this will be the plan that we start on campus learning with if and when we can go back, especially if we were to start on September 2nd. So session 1, you can see the times there. There is an hour in between, and there has been many questions that have come up regarding sanitizing. So this is when custodial staff, school staff will be sanitizing high touch point areas, classrooms, making sure that it is ready and sanitized for session 2 to come. Another question that has come up in multiple different places is asking for clarification around the 1 to 2 hours of self-paced learning. So that's going to look, we have not landed on a final decision, but it will look different ways. So it will be a combination of online adaptive research-based programs, potentially, and some task completion, either that they need to do from their on-campus learning experience, and or it could be something through another learning platform. So more information to come on that. The other question that has come up regarding the contingency plan is how do we know if we're session 1 or session 2, which is a great question. Definitely as a parent myself whose school we're having to figure out childcare as well. We will keep siblings, families together in the sessions, and we are likely going to be organizing it by alphabet. And so we are aware that not all families have the same last name, so we'll make sure to query that. So that way it's in there, everybody's in one session. Now, the other option that obviously there's 3 options. So we've touched on alternative programs and I've directed you to that information. We've also talked about the on-campus learning experience. So now as we start to talk about the virtual learning experience, I want to touch on distance learning. So last spring when school closed on Friday, March 13th, definitely a Friday the 13th that will live in history. That was distance learning was an emergency response to school closures. Our teachers, our staff did an amazing job with very limited resources and little to no training in virtual learning. And based on your input from Canyon View and PUSD-wide, we understand the need for a more rigorous virtual learning experience. So we are partnering with you around this and making sure that it does meet the needs of our students. So with that, linked in here, the Virtual Learning Academy experience on page 18 and 19 of the PUSD guidebook, that is where you can find much more in-depth information around virtual learning. It also talks about technical support, distance learning versus virtual learning, which we are moving to. So I just want to touch on a few. Learners will receive virtual learning 5 days a week. So they will see their teacher every single day with access to instructional supports. So attendance will be taken, grading, feedback. Our hope And our goal for continuity of our amazing Canyon View community is that it will be a Canyon View virtual learning academy when possible. That is our ultimate goal. Learning materials, so the tangible materials that our kids need to put our hands on, that will be provided to students through what we're getting very good at, is the materials distribution, as well as we will do Chromebook distribution, as we did previously in the spring when we launched into distance learning. There will be equity in the academic progress and the curriculum. For Canyon View, it's highly important to us that our on-campus learning students, as well as our virtual learning students, are having a comparable experience. So we're going to maintain that collaboration between on-campus and virtual learning teachers. The Virtual Learning Academy will continue to use district-adopted curriculum. I already touched on the collaboration and the access to social emotional support via the virtual teacher counselor and our school services assistant. At the bottom here, let me see what happened. Hold on 1 second. So let me hide this. Okay. Let me pop back in here to this one. So I wanted to draw your attention specifically to this sample schedule. It's not working. So what I'll do when I post it, there'll be a sample schedule there that really walks families through a day in the life of the Virtual Learning Academy experience. And I think it's helpful because it talks about those live connection points, either through a pre-recorded video or through a live view. So I'll make sure to link that in. I don't know why my link's not working. As we look at both options, of knowing that there's 3 options, but at those 2 options, I think it's really important to call out the similarities. I know that as an educator and as a parent, that I want to make sure that I am giving my child the best education while ensuring that they're safe. So in all learning models, in homeschool, on campus, and virtual learning academy, these 8 objectives will be consistent: rigorous and innovative learning, culturally responsive curriculum and instruction, social emotional learning and supports, engagement and collaboration, both teacher to student and student to student, meaningful assessment and feedback, which we know is so important for our children, connection and belonging, supports with students with differing abilities, and then parents as partners. And of course, I am here to be your partner. I also want to share that there is no wrong choice. As a mom, we're going to make the best choice for our family with the information that we have now. I also want you to know that we will start the year on September 2nd. That is when learning is officially open. Your learner will be assigned a either on-campus or virtual learning teacher to start the year, whether we start with the option of on-campus or if we all start virtually. So we want to start having teachers and students create those relationships as soon as possible. The ESS. So I have received, as has the district, as has Michelle Wilson-Manos, who oversees ESS, lots of questions about ESS and what that's going to look like and the need. And I can definitely relate. As a working mom, childcare is going to be tricky as we navigate our new normal throughout this school year. So I did link in the ESS website for you. I know that they are going to be doing their absolute best to keep that information current. There's an updated information right here they are working on, and it looks like it's already up, that there will be a session 4, and that came about because of the need from our community. And we are really working to meet the needs of our community in all respects. So the next part, I want to make sure I've covered everything before I move to the questions. So, thank you for your patience. Another question that has come up a couple different times is, I want to know who my teacher is going to be. We are going to, I don't have an answer for that yet. But I do want you to know that we will be working through creating staffing plans and doing those assignments as soon as possible. And we will work systematically throughout how we unify to share that information in a timely fashion, and in a way that one school isn't finding out before another. So we're going to really try and move systematically through that. So regarding questions, I had sent out a Padlet. This is called a Padlet, a virtual Q&A forum. I sent that out Sunday night, and I want you to know that all of these questions are fantastic. So what I have been doing is going in and answering the questions as they're coming up. So I want to kind of show you the format. It is still live that you can view it. Right now it is closed for questions because I wanted to be able to take all your questions and make sure I wrapped it into our presentation, to our informational session for today. So if you go back in and you did see, and you want to see if there's an answer to your specific question, if you look right here at the top, what I'll do is I'll put 2 asterisks and then I will give the answer. Or there's other ones where I'll link in. This is actually the link. So this was specifically about Virtual Learning Academy. So I'll link in where you can find more in-depth information. I'll answer your question and then direct you where you can find more information. I know we are all probably a little bit on information overload, so I want to make sure that I give you the resource while answering your question. So on that virtual learning slide, now that it's up, this is a sample schedule for both teacher and student that you can look at. I will relink it into the presentation, but I just want you to see, if you look specifically at the student side, there are multiple points that where it's quote unquote live. So that connection. So that's one of the big differences of distance learning, which that was in the past, and now we are moving into the virtual learning experience. As you can see, I've tried to, some of them it allows me to highlight in green, which is my answer, and other ones, like I said, it will be double asterisk, and then you'll be able to see my answer there. And I'll work on answering the rest throughout today and tomorrow, so please go ahead and check back as you can. If I didn't answer your question, I will do my best to get back and do that. And or it may have been answered in this informational session, so I might not go back and answer it specifically. Okay. So as we start to wrap up, I want you to know that I am here. I am here 100%. We are pretty much working 24/7. I'm trying to be very quick in my response to emails. I did create, and I linked it in, oh, my cursor's gone. So I did create a Google site with all of the key links, because there are a lot of links that we are asking families to familiarize themselves with. And so on this Google site, let me see if this is the problem. Hold on 1 second. So if you go into, maybe I'll do it this way. It's not, okay. So I did create a Canyon View Google site with a quick access school, district, and state reopening information. This will also be posted to our Canyon View website with key links. So the guidebook, the reopening page, alternative programs. You can look at the California Department of Health, San Diego Health Department, California Center for Disease Control, with really key information. So that way, as many links as possible are in one space for you. I do want to call attention to, I will be meeting with grade level spans in the upcoming days, and I'm really looking forward to a live connection with you. I do ask that you view this thoroughly first, just out of respect for time. I want to make sure that I'm answering questions that haven't yet been answered or clarifying as needed, so you can see the times below. I will be sending out the information via ConnectEd to the Zoom link, the meeting ID and password, and we just ask that those stay confidential within our school community to ensure that we have really productive Zoom times. So as we wrap up, there's a lot on our plates, and as a mom and an educator and a principal, I know this. So one thing at a time. So please take the time to review our Canyon View reopening plan. Look at some of those really key pages in our PUSD guidebook. Explore alternative programs if that's a need for you. Make sure that you complete the survey by July 31st. It is my understanding that if the surveys are not completed, we will reach out, but then you will be placed in on-campus learning. Take a breath. We are in this together, and we are consuming a lot of information right now, and I am here to help decipher that information with you and stay connected with me. I am here to do this alongside you, and together we can do anything. We got this. There's my information. There's also our Instagram, our Facebook page, our Twitter accounts. I have also linked in here at the bottom the PUSD connection. So that's a link to the guidebook where it talks about the different avenues where you can stay connected to Poway Unified School District as well. And I just want to encourage you as parents. There's no such thing as a perfect parent. So just be a real one. Parenting is hard in and of itself. And then parenting during a pandemic is harder or different, and it's uncharted territory, and there's no roadmap for this. So I want you to know that we act so strong for us, and we often forget just how fragile that you can be. So I want to just reiterate, there is no wrong decision. This is a commitment opportunity through the semester, and there'll be another opportunity this year at the semester break to relook at information and make another decision if that is best for your family. Just give yourself grace as you navigate this, please, and drop me an email if you have questions, please. I look forward to seeing you on the Zoom. And I want to leave you with a great quote from one wise PUSD principal as we embark on this very historical school year. It's in that bottom corner. It says, "Tradition is on pause, and we are making friends with change." And I look forward to the time when we can meet again on campus. And until then, take care, stay safe and healthy.